Hi, this is Chico Resch. You are listening to the Let's Go Devils podcast on the Primetime Radio Network.
Happy Devils Thursday. Welcome to Game Day Live, presented by the Let's Go Devils Podcast Network and the Primetime Radio Studios, along with Crew Brew. Welcome to all fans watching Game Day Live on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, wherever it is you get our show. Tonight's game will feature the New Jersey Devils as they take on the New York Rangers. Shorts guy, my friend, my co-host, my buddy, my pal, how you doing?
Doing good, man. Doing good. Just getting our Instagram post ready to go. It's been a crazy, crazy day. I wish I would have gotten it out sooner, but hey, what are you going to do? The Devils are playing the Rangers tonight. This is a big one. And, not only is it, Metro points, which, we've talked about over and over and over again, but it's a source of local pride.
Of course, and the New Jersey Devils have a 2-0 series lead on the New York Rangers in the regular season. They can guarantee a win in that area if they were to get a win tonight at Madison Square Garden. The New Jersey Devils, in their most recent game, ended what was the probably worst lull of the season ever. I'm a believer that every team in the league, no matter who the opponents are, goes through a lull over 82 games. It's hard. It's hard to play 82 games. It'd be hard to play 32 games. And, they do it. They go through it, and it's over. And it was exactly the kind of win that I expected to end such an ugly drought, that close game against the Seattle Kraken, and you needed Markstrom to step up at a time, and you needed one of the stars to make a play, and Jack Hughes certainly did that. And it's exactly, what the doctor ordered for the Devils to end that drought. And now they look forward, and they have a chance to put together a second win in a row all of a sudden against their bitter rival, who has been struggling mightily as of late.
Yeah, that game that Markstrom had, I'm still amazed at those two saves in the third period. Those two saves, those are the saves you dream of making as a goalie and hope you never really have to make, because those are desperation saves. Those are saves that you shouldn't make, but you do. And they are confidence-boosting saves for both you, obviously, and your team, because it's showing your team you are doing everything you humanly and what may seem like inhumanly possible can do to win the game. It's just I'm so happy we won that game, and it was definitely a bit of a nail biter at the end. I was talking to Brooke Amanda during the game, and it almost felt like watching the end of a playoff game, like a series clinching game. That's how tense it was watching the end of that game. For the simple reason obviously we wanted to see the Devils win, but at the same time we also wanted to we needed to beat this get the streak off our back. So it was a ton of fun.
I mean, imagine a world where they lose, and they're now on a 5-game losing streak, and they're out of the top 10 in the NHL in points, if that were the case. Instead, they win, bump up to 6. Edmonton's win yesterday got them into 6th over them. They're in 7th, but 3rd in the Eastern Conference. It's not. They're one of the best teams in the Eastern Conference and have been for the entire year, but the feeling would be a lot different around here had they allowed the Kraken to tie it and possibly win it. And they didn't do that. And so as a result, knowing what was on the line, it felt like a playoff game, like you said, and that's how hard it is to win in the NHL. I don't care where Seattle is in the standings, because quite frankly, Seattle's not a very good team. They're 28th in the league right now. They have, 14 fewer points than the Devils. But every game is hard. The Devils lost to Anaheim. They had a hard game against the Blackhawks. They've lost to the Sharks twice. Yeah. But, they've beaten the Capitals. They've beaten Toronto. They've beaten Florida. They've beaten, who else am I looking for here? A lot of these teams at the top.
Hurricanes.
So,
we beat the Hurricanes.
Exactly. It's hard.
It is. And you're right. This league is very difficult. And we said this, I forget which game along the way in the last couple and out West. they're all professionals on every single team, and they all want to win. They all want a job for next season, so they all want to do well. And yeah, the Devils have hit a streak or a lull, and it happens. But what what better way to continue your new streak? Because every time you lose, you start a new winning streak. So what better way to continue our new winning streak than by beating the Rangers again at MSG, which for a while we couldn't do anything there against. And of course the Rangers just happened to bring up everyone's favorite player for today's game, which really shows you what the Rangers want out of today's game, for him to be in it. And that's something that the Devils are countering with McDermott, and the Devils are going to come out, is my hope, and be ready for it. And it's, this is a rivalry game, and we've spoken about this before in the other game day lives before the Devils Rangers. It doesn't matter where you are in the standings specifically to these games. It doesn't matter, because it's going to be insane.
I was just working the Blackhawks Avalanche game yesterday, and the Blackhawks beat them 3-1. And the Avalanche came in 8-1-1 in their last 10. Nathan McKinnon's the leading scorer in the NHL. Cale Makar is one of the defensive leaders in scoring in the NHL. Rantanen's going to go to the Hall of Fame, once he puts together one or two more 50-goal seasons. And the Blackhawks just shut them down and beat them. And the Blackhawks now improved their league worst record to still league worst record. So, like I said, any team can win any game. And that's why being as successful as the Devils have been against the Rangers this year has been fun. It's been amazing. But they need to go in there and continue to do what they do that makes them successful against a team like the Rangers. You brought up the fact that Rempe is back. He is now officially done with his 8-game suspension that he earned himself. This is the 9th game since then, so he's back, and he will be in the lineup, and the Devils are responding by putting McDermott in the lineup themselves, so I would expect, I don't know if I'm expecting fisticuffs. If I were Rempe, I'd be real careful, like all Rangers hate aside. Next time, he's gone for 20. He's gone for 20 games next time he hits someone in the head. So I'd be real careful if I were him. And then Igor Shesterkin is back from injury tonight. He will start for the New York Rangers in net, which is usually something you don't want to see as the opponent. But lately, the Devils have, especially Jack Hughes himself, have found ways to solve Shesterkin. Does that mean he is incapable of putting together a masterpiece tonight? Of course not. He's Igor Shesterkin, if we're being real. But... if you're the Devils, just keep hard on the forecheck. You're not going to have the matchups you want at Madison Square Garden, at least at even strength. But you got to go in there and put your best, because the Rangers, they're struggling. They're in second to last in the Metro, but they still have Panarin, and they still have Fox, and they still have Shesterkin, and Kreider's a proud guy. I don't think he's healthy scratched this time. Zibanejad's still a proud guy. I'll never have anybody rip on my trade package of pieces that I write, just to get the brain flowing a little bit sometimes, because a real NHL GM offered Mika Zibanejad to another real NHL GM for JT Miller, 1-for-1. So I don't want to hear anybody talk crap about my trade packages anymore. When a real NHL GM is making trade proposals like that, I don't want to hear it anymore. But Shorts Guy, your thoughts on the matchup against the Rangers as I laid it out?
I think you laid it out perfectly. It was funny over Christmas. I saw my cousin's dad, and he looked at me. He's like, "Man, are your fans dumb? They were chanting Igor, and he's on the bench." I was like, "No, our fans knew exactly what they were doing, because they really wanted to just kind of razz him." We're going to see that matchup with Igor again. This is going. We're going back to the scene of the origination of Instagram hockey, according to Steve Valiquette, who claims his teammates would have been hanging over the boards, trying to do whatever they could over some course of the 14 or 13 games he got, something absurd like that. And I kind of like Steve Valiquette, but I think, I feel like he was just trying to say something just to pontificate about nothing. But Jack Hughes seems to have Shesterkin's number. And I can tell you, as a goalie, when a player's got your number, it gets in your head a little bit. Now, then again, these guys are professionals, so maybe this is why I'm not a professional, because every now and then a player gets in my head. But I don't see how it can't do that at the professional ranks as well. As much as this is a rivalry, and yeah, you have to get up for it, I think Sheldon Keefe's also going to be really good at making sure that the guys look at this as just look at it as another game, which they're going to have to do. Because they're going to have to not be all hyped up and all whipped up over the rivalry. We've seen a couple of the intermission stuff that they've shown over the last couple of weeks, and a lot of the Devils players in the in the questions from Rachel, when asked about a rivalry, a lot of them answered the Rangers. In fact, almost all of them have answered the Rangers. I think Nico Hischier, was asked the question, describe a rivalry in 3 words, and he said New York Rangers. So these guys know. These guys know it's not only a statement of, or a game that means a lot of local pride, but it's a fierce divisional matchup, and it's going to be good. 2 good divisional points, and not for nothing. Last time in MSG, Devils fans were making some noise, which I love to see, because those blue roaches like to take over our arena, and then they start making fun of us for it because they can't afford tickets in their own building. It's not our fault.
No, it's not our fault at all. And for those of you who are wondering, I did Google the word pontificate. It's a verb to express one's opinions in ways considered annoying, pompous, or dogmatic. So, just in case your brain was put in a pretzel when Shorts Guy used the word pontificate, there you have it. I get crapped on for using words like that all the time too, but that one hit me and I was like, pontificate. I like it. As a podcaster, especially. That's incredible. I hope Jack Hughes scores a Michigan goal. I hope he out Instagram through the legs. Go out there and be what makes you special if you're Jack Hughes. I'm not saying like go out of your way, force a turnover that leads the Rangers in the other direction by any means, but I'm going out there and I'm playing my Jack Hughes highest level of hockey, knowing it's the Rangers, knowing I get under their skin to the nth degree, and just really try to help my team win. He did that in their most recent game. I thought the play he made for Palat, which they found a way to get him on the board, which was much needed. After kind of a disaster against the Sharks, because sometimes that happens. You don't shoot it where you thought you were going to. Palat shot it right back into Askarov when he had a full net to shoot on, and that would have given the Devils the win, most likely. So, you're being called a nerd in the chat. I just wanted to say I didn't say it to make you look like a nerd. I love the word pontificate. I can't wait to use it over and over and over again. All of New Jersey and Illinois are going to know what the word pontificate means by the end of 2025.
That's not the first time you've heard that word, is it?
I think it might be. I really think it might be.
This is what
I used to read the dictionary. Yeah, well, I used to read the dictionary. I used to, because I heard Eminem used to do it, and I thought it was super cool. And I was like, oh, I want to write. I want to, learn how to write and become a writer. And lo and behold, I did. But pontificate evaded me for all these years. I'm super stoked. Love that word. You are not a nerd. The people in the chat are nerds. But now
actually,
they're not.
They know the
word.
Hold on. Stop right there. We had a long discussion one night, me and the guys from Hot Pod, when we were over at Billy Dean's house. If we were nerds or dorks, because we couldn't figure it out, because we were all athletes, we're all athletic, we all play hockey, but we all love things like Godzilla, but we all love hockey, we all love other sports. So we came up with pretty much with the feeling that we were nerds, and that's fine. Like we're great with being nerds, because that's kind of what we are. Like we'll get together and talk Godzilla and Simpsons and all nerdy things. Like they'll talk comics, and I wasn't a big comic book guy, but those guys were. But we'll go out and we'll go rip it up on a hockey rink. So I'm okay with being a nerd.
I'm absolutely a nerd. I'm nerdy about things that aren't nerdy, like hockey. I'm nerdy about things that are nerdy, like Star Wars and Marvel. The new Captain America movie comes out in a couple weeks. Like I'm ready to jump through a wall out of excitement. Like, can't wait. But yeah, nerd, not so much a dork. I like to look nice when I go out and, not be like a nuisance to people. Yeah, I'm not a dork, but certainly a nerd and proud of it. But yeah, as far as the game today, it should be a good one. It's the same thing we always like to say. Um, I feel like Heischer and Bratt, they haven't cooled off, but I know what the Devils can do when they're hot, and I'd like to see them kind of heat up a bit again. And I kind of feel the same way about Jack Hughes, but last game he kind of put the team on his back offensively, and I thought they were all over the ice in that one. But depth scoring, Dawson Mercer.
Mm-hmm.
You'd like to see him continue to score. Cotter, every time Cotter scores, it's beautiful. Um, it's like I look at the goals he scores. I'm like, how do you not have 50 every year? And
Yeah.
he's a depth guy. He'll probably get to 20. I do think he'll get to 20, which is really, really good for a bottom six forward. But I'd like for those 20 the rest of the season, however many he's got left in him, to be a little more spread out instead of like all bunched together like they were in the early part of the season. So yeah, depth scoring. Let's get the stars pounding. I would love for the Devils to just really take it to the Rangers today. I don't foresee that necessarily happening. I think this is going to be a hard game that they can absolutely win. But what are your thoughts on that?
I mean, I think the Devils they just gotta come out and play hockey. I think having a couple days off after that road trip, I'm sure they flew home immediately after Seattle. They're going to be coming in a little bit rested. I know Max was talking to Sam and I in the beginning of the Seattle game, and he was like, "Man, we look exhausted." And I think that road trip was long for the Devils, so it'll be good to be home. And they even said it on the broadcast that they said the road trip continues, but it doesn't because they're away at MSG, which meant they got to come home, and that does a lot for you to recharge and to be back in your in the friendly confines of your own bed and your own area. So I think the Devils are going to be able to come out strong, and I think they're going to be able to do it. Before we get going, though, we have to give a big woo to Wimpy for the $2 Rangers Suck Super Chat. So thank you, Wimpy, because Super Chats equal wins. And I don't know if we said hello to everyone in the chat. There's a lot of stuff going on in the chat, and all the regulars are there. Brooke Amanda, Max, Wimpy, Stephen Engel, AJ Visco of AJ Visco Attorney at Law. Who else? Select the Boys there. Surveys there. We got everyone here. Joseph, hello to everyone. Joey B, Ted, what's going on, Ted? Tom, everyone's there. So it's good to see everyone here in the chat like always. And man, it's gonna it's gonna be a good night. And I would have loved to have gone to the game tonight. I have a game of my own that I got to go play instead. But I'm really hoping that the Devils just continue their winning ways against the Rangers. That's my biggest hope. Just continue their winning ways against the Rangers, and don't let the hype get to you, but use this as a game to move forward. What we've seen out of Markstrom in the first two games, I'm hoping for again tonight. He seems to really step it up when it matters. And I think, after that win in Seattle, after seeing what, he did in San Jose when that last goal went in, man, I think I got to imagine he's ready. He's getting the rest of the guys ready. And woo! Pontificate on this. Thank you, Brooke Amanda, for the super chat.
Pontificate. Love that.
I'm glad I've taught you a new word. I've expanded your vocabulary, Vinny.
And I love words. I love learning. I miss school. I say it all the time. People get mad at me. I'm like, my favorite day of the week is Monday. I miss school. Like, seriously. Early in the season, the Devils.
You've got to use You got to use pontificate in one of your next articles.
Okay, 100%.
Like when you see a coach just going on and on about nothing, you could just say,
yes.
And Coach so and so just pontificated about how bad his team was.
Absolutely. I'm totally gonna lean into that, and I'm already like the wheels are already spinning on that.
Hold
13-9-0.
Max just sent me a text. He didn't see Kreider in the Rangers lineup for tonight.
Oh,
I had to throw that in there because that's kind of a big deal.
Yeah,
You're going in. So, all right. Why don't you go with the with the rest of the
early in the season.
Kreider.
Yeah, early in the season, the stereotype was that they were stinky at home and, kind of playing well on the road. Well, since losing 4 on the road in their last handful of games, they're 13-9-0, which is fine. Like,
Hmm.
they say if you're going to play well at home. If you're going to stink on the road. But, I wouldn't say they've stunk, especially before that 4 games. They would be 13-5-0, which is a really respectable road record. But, they added the 4. But at home, they're 12-6-3, which is a pretty good winning percentage. And they've kind of climbed out of that stereotype that they're not that good at home. And they've been good at home lately. They're not at home tonight, but like you said, as close to home as you could possibly get in the NHL.
Hmm.
I do believe, geographically speaking, the Devils and the Rangers have the 2 closest rinks in the National Hockey League. So, they're going home
Yeah.
tonight. They'll be sleeping in their own bed. It might take 3 hours to get from New York City to Hoboken or wherever some of these guys live.
Nah,
Because,
it'll be
I,
quick and easy to
hey,
get in and out.
I almost missed Game Day Live on my birthday a couple years ago when I came from visiting Manhattan for the first time in my life because it took 2 hours to go 3 miles.
Well, they also
Not mad
instituted.
about it still or anything.
Now, MSG is now in the new congestion toll area, so apparently there's less people driving around the city. So my guess is it's going to be a little bit easier to get home. But that's that's a local argument that's raging in the news over here. So maybe a little bit
And
quicker,
you're
maybe a
just
little bit quicker getting in and out. But when you're leaving there at nighttime, leaving New York City at night is a breeze. Man, traffic. I mean, there's still a little bit of residual traffic in Manhattan, especially around the 34th Street area. But it'll be a breeze for those guys to get home, and they'll be back home in their beds, which is great, and prepare for the Lightning on Saturday.
100%. And so, basically, what you're saying is I'm pontificating about New York Rangers or New York traffic leading into
You
New
are,
Jersey.
you are,
So
you
I'm
are.
understanding the word properly. Okay.
Yes,
Like just a bad opinion, basically. Like speaking a bad opinion,
just
essentially.
just just speaking excessively.
But there's no positive connotation that could come from it. Like I
You
can't say shorts guys pontificating about Jack Hughes, and I love it. I that to me, based on my understanding of the word, that would be a bad use of it.
I was just talking about it. I always took it as you're just kind of talking, going on and on and on and on.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I see. Okay. So we're gonna get that. We're gonna get that down.
Ooh.
Everybody, go into the prediction portion right now. I want predictions in the chat on YouTube right now. I will read as many off as I possibly can. If you put it in there, I'm gonna read it. Ted wants to know if I play World of Warcraft. I used to really like World of Warcraft. Um, I have since not played it in a long time, but I still really enjoy watching Yu-Gi-Oh. So if we're gonna get real nerdy, that's probably the nerdiest thing I do on a moderately regular basis. So start throwing your predictions in the chat right now, Shorts Guy, before I start reading some of these while they fill up. What do you got for me?
All right, Devils Rangers tonight, and were confirmed, I believe, from our friend Max, that it is Markstrom versus Shesterkin tonight. So I think that this. Yep, thank you, Max. Yep, it is confirmed Markstrom versus Shesterkin, which I'm not going to say what Max put because it's somewhat a family show. I think the Devils can win tonight, and I will never, think that they can't against the New York Rangers, especially this version of the New York Rangers. I think Markstrom is dialed in these rivalry games, having played so many in the battle for Alberta, which is one of the fiercest rivalries. I'll say it again in the league. So I think the Devils are going to win tonight. I think it's going to be a 4-1 Devils victory over the New York Rangers, and Shesterkin. What is it? 13-2 so far, aggregate score, I believe, in the first 2
Yeah.
games. So we'll kind of
Yeah.
add to that. We'll add to that lopsidedness.
I remember the first time I heard the word, and this is obviously I was kind of young. The first time I heard the word aggregate used in like a
Sports.
mathematical sentence. Yeah,
Yeah.
like a sports mathematical sentence. It was in Moneyball when
Okay.
they were losing Isringhausen, Giambi, and Damon in one off season, and he's like, "Well, we're not going to replace Jason Giambi. You don't just replace Jason Giambi, but we're going to replace him in the aggregate. And he goes on and explains it basically like the development of war in a lot of ways.
Mhm.
And I'm just like, this is incredible. I'm a nerd. I love the word aggregate. I love using it in sports. So I'm very happy you use that. Speaking of words, Morgan says 6-1 Devils thrash the Rags. Brian says 4-2 Devils. Um, Joey B says Rangers are a bit slow right now. Too much off ice drama. Devils 4-2. Felix says 4-3 Devils. Steve Engel says 4-2 Blue Skirts. If you're gonna call them Blue Skirts, then just pick them to lose. Like
Seriously.
it just makes no sense. Like if you're gonna like go there, pick the Devils to win. Um, Max says Devils win 5-2. Scrolling down to where when I actually said it, that's when they all started to really flow in. Selecta says 4-2 Devils. Joey points out that pontificating is my word of the day. It's my word of the week, buddy. Word of the week. I'm
Love
getting
it.
it tattooed on my forearm in size 15 font. Joseph says 5
Gotta pick
nothing
the font.
Devils. Yeah, I'm thinking Times New Roman's too plain.
Too plain.
I don't know. I'll pick one of the cartoony ones.
All right.
Joey B says Devils 4-2 again. Survey says 4-1 Devils. Felix says 4-3 Devils. Brooke Amanda's in lockstep with you, Shorts Guy 4-1.
Yes, she
AJ
is.
Visco says 3-1 Devils. Brooke wants me to mention Jack with 2 goals. Okay. Oh my
Woo.
goodness, 4-3 Devils. Um, Eric says 5-2 Devils. Max points out a error we made. It's 10-1 aggregate for the Devils against the Rangers this season. That's right.
I
They
thought it
shut them
was.
out 5-0. They shut them out 5-0 and then beat them 5-1, if I remember
All right.
correctly.
Thank you, Max.
Thank you, Max. Corbin says 4-0 Devils. Coordinator says 3-2 Rangers in overtime. Like what? What are we
Man.
doing? If if they go to overtime with the Rangers and lose, I'll be annoyed because outside of
So
Panarin and
will I.
Fox, outside of Panarin and 3-on-3 is all about skating. Like
Yeah.
I honestly think like you can have like mid-level puck skills. The Devils have like some of the best skaters in the NHL that play at a high level, and they're just like I think I'd rank them second in OT teams in the NHL. I would give the edge to the Oilers because you could throw Leon and McDavid out there at the same time. You could separate them. Nugent Hopkins is a good skater.
Hmm.
I still think Victor Arvidsson's got a good ability to skate. Trying to think of some other guys that might be really good skaters on that team. Obviously Bouchard. So yeah, I don't know. I'm excited for this game though. Hopefully Shesterkin points out why he's not worth 13 million. Um,
Seriously.
yeah,
Oh
Steve Engel
God.
says power plays and Igor will be keys to the game for the Rangers winning. Yeah, Igor has been big garbage against the Devils so far this season, so that would have to change. And the Devils' power play, all that Instagram hockey, has been real good for them this year. So I'm not sure I agree going into the game. Obviously, I hope you're wrong, and I hope I'm right that the New Jersey Devils win this game 4-3.
I'll take it. And I don't know why I do this to myself, but I decided to dip my toe into a New York Rangers Facebook group, and holy crap, are they annoying!
Oh yeah,
Guess who? Guess who they're talking about in this one? The man, the myth, the legend is back. The Devils better have their heads up tonight. Yeah.
I mean,
Wow.
I would get it. I would get it if they were like the 2015 Kings or the 2015 Blackhawks or Ducks. Just playing that West Coast style. You got a couple cups
Mhm.
in the bank, and you just add a Rempe when you know you have Taves and Kane ripping it up on the top line, or Kopitar and Jeff Carter ripping it up on the top 2 lines, Crosby and Malkin. Even though Rempe would have never fit those Penguins teams, but like the West Coast teams mostly. But you're the Rangers. You got dummied by the Panthers in the conference, which you made it to the conference finals. Congrats to you. That was great. That was a great run for the Rangers. I give credit where credit's due. I hate them. I hated every minute of it. When they beat Washington, I was angry. When they beat whoever they beat in the second round, I was angry. and I was very happy when they lost to the Panthers. But with that said, I give respect where it's due. It was a great year. You come out this year and you're basically a dumpster can on fire,
Yeah, they
and
are.
you're wasting Fox and Shesterkin and Panarin's prime like fruit on a dead tree, and you're calling Matt Rempe like whatever he was, like no
Uh,
shot that if that were the Devils. I don't like Curtis McDermott's contract. I don't like that he's playing tonight. None of that is heroish to me. I'm being dead serious. I might be a little happy he's playing tonight with Rempe in the lineup, but
mhm.
like I think they could have gotten a different big guy for a far less money to just fight Rempe if he looks at anyone funny. But you
I,
know,
I, I do,
Rempe.
I do feel though with McDermott, they did say that there's a lot of upside to him and how he carries himself as a professional in the locker room, which I think this young team
Which I'm
really,
all
really
cool with.
needed. And
Yeah,
I'm cool with
totally.
that too. And he's in the lineup for one reason and one reason only, and that's because of who the Rangers are putting in their lineup. And that's right now, where the Rangers are dictating the type of game this is because that's all they got. It's sad, really. But if the Rangers, if this is the game they're going to play, oh well, and so
Who's the
be it. But
Rangers guy, media guy that always gets himself into
Larry Brooks.
Larry Brooks? Larry Brooks. I was just going. It was the first one. I actually don't mind Larry Brooks. I saw him at the United Center a couple weeks ago. But does he tweet the lines? I just want the lines, and he was the first person. He
So
doesn't tweet the
Max
lines.
Max Max sent them to me from what he found on social media. You're looking for the Rangers lines?
Yeah, I want Rangers lines. I want to see
Uh,
with my own two eyes that Kreider's out of the lineup.
so it's here. I'll send it to you because I just don't feel like saying these names on air. I don't want to give them any time with that. So I'll send them to you, and there's no Kreider in that lineup. I just sent it to our group, which man,
Oh, they're
it's
getting Kaliev in there. That's right. I forgot they claimed him.
yeah, they did.
Yeah, yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, no, and I'm confirming it. Colin Stevenson also
Okay,
has these. Yeah, you got the lines exactly the same
that's
as
thanks
I'm
to
seeing them.
Max.
So good on you and good on Max. Um, Obviously Panarin with Vinnie Trocheck and Lafreniere is where that's where you need Heischer, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And then I could see like Jack. This lineup's terrible, and I'm not saying that as a hater, but like it's not good right now. Outside of those top three forwards, Zibanejad's struggling. Riley Smith scored a pretty goal at the game at the United Center, but when the Hawks are having a bad game, they have like really bad games. So you got to take that with a grain of salt. I like Adam Fox. I like Keandre Miller as a defenseman, but he's having a terrible year, so that's not even going
Awful.
well. Yeah, so
Joe,
the Devils, they gotta, if they skate, the Devils can beat this team anytime they
yeah,
play them.
Joey B just called McDermott a necessary evil from his time in watching him with the Avs. I like that.
Fair.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
It's very, very fair.
It,
There are a lot of people that want Devils lines. I could probably get you those. Those I can get you like uber quick.
Max said we're still waiting on Amanda Stein, so I guess we
Yeah,
haven't.
well, how about Vinny? How about Vinny Parise? Timo Meyer,
Vinny
Nico Heischer
Parise?
with Stephen Nason.
Okay.
Andre Palat with Jack Hughes and Jesper Blad.
Okay.
Cotter with Dowling and Mercer on the third line. McDermott with Lazar and Bastion on the fourth line. Brennan Dillon, Dougie Hamilton, top pair. Siegenthaler, Kovacevic, second pair. Luke Hughes, Brett Pesce, third pair. And then Mackenzie Blackwood. Jacob Markstrom in net.
I'll take it. I will take it.
Yep, it's a good lineup.
And we'll see what the Rangers are going to do as far as who they put out as their starting line, how they want to play this game tonight, because we all remember the line brawl. Ted's been calling for another one of them. I know he's been telling me on the side he wants a line brawl. He wants to see a brawl. We'll see who the Rangers start, because that's just, we've seen it multiple times against the Rangers. where they will start their fourth line, which means that we have to start our fourth line, and it usually only means one thing and one thing only. We know they're not below that or above that, whatever you want to say.
I would hate that. I know it would be entertaining, and I would write a bunch of tweets that would get a bunch of likes, and Rangers fans would want me dead, which I love. I thrive in that. But like now you're down to 3 lines for a full 60-minute game, and really, like last year, it was funny.
No, you're not down to 3 lines.
Devils
You're
weren't
down
going to the
for like
playoffs.
5 minutes. You're down to 3 lines for 5 minutes. Unless
Yeah,
they
but
get
if you're not the
unless they
first
get an
fight,
ejection.
if you're not the first fight, you're ejected. I think last year
Oh,
with
that's
that
right.
line brawl,
Yeah, that's right.
only, and technically it wasn't even Rempe and McDermott that got saved. They were technically deemed the second fight because they got their gloves off a millisecond.
Yeah. Well,
too late.
apparently you can get fined for fighting without dropping your gloves now, which we found out the other game. What was that, against the Sharks or against I forget who that was against, but apparently you can get a 5-minute major for not even dropping the gloves.
Yeah, the words woke nonsense are thrown around way too much lately. That is complete and utter woke nonsense. For fighting, you don't even throw off the mitts. That is utter hockey woke nonsense, if I've ever heard it.
That was stupid.
And I mostly think you sound dumb if you say that usually, but in this case, woke nonsense. That is
pontificate, Vinnie.
Pontificating about it. Yeah, exactly. I can't thank everybody enough for watching the show today. It has been an absolute blast learning, talking about the Rangers. Hopefully things go the way of our favorite team. Our Devils, exactly. And I know our guy Sam Wu also has another game that he'll be wildly interested in tonight.
Yes,
between his Penn State Nittany Lions and God's favorite team, the Notre Dame Fighting Irish. I call them God's favorite team because they have touchdown Jesus on their property. Like that you're off to a bad start right off the bat. Knowing that touchdown Jesus is just watching the game every time. But I have no idea. This game, it's a neutral site game, so he's not there. But it's been fun. Hopefully everybody has a good time watching the football games, and hopefully the Devils find a way to get a win over their biggest rival, the New York Rangers. And I can't thank everybody enough for watching. Go to joinourcrew.com to keep up with everything going on with the Let's Go Devils Podcast Network, and come back to the station to listen to Devils After Dark, where Scotty of SiriusXM Liquid Metal will break down the game with Sam Wu. I like Liquid Metal. I like throwing that on whenever I'm in a car that has SiriusXM available. That's a good station.
You got to listen to Scotty's show. It's on Thursdays, I believe. You got to listen to Scotty's show. Corridor of
absolutely.
Covers.
I never have, and I absolutely need to. You are absolutely right. That is 100% correct. For Sam Wu, for Shorts Guy, for the New Jersey Devils taking down the New York Rangers, hopefully, I'm Vinnie Parise. Thank you for listening. Let's go Devils.